Peter, thanks very much for coming in. How long have you been a location manager, and what are you working on at the moment?
My first location managing job was about 2009. Mm-hmm. I've been in the industry since 2002, and at the moment I'm working on Grace.
And it's series 4 now?
Season 4, yeah, which we're filming at the moment. Yeah, that's been a big part of my life for the last 4 years, really.
How did you get involved in Grace?
Through the Sussex Film Office. And through Kieran, and Kieran Murray-Smith, who got me on, who was a producer of Grace, and I've worked with before. And I started working on it at the end of 2019. And yeah, I've been definitely on the ground, one of the first people there.
We were talking earlier, and you said it's all shot in Brighton, which is quite unusual because a lot of programs obviously cheat, I guess. Into locations, but it's all filmed in Brighton.
It's all filmed in Brighton, so that I think, you know, I've been doing filming around here for quite a while now. Like I did Sugar Rush as well, which was about 2004.
Yep.
And that was all set in Brighton. But what they did, they came down for a week or two. They filmed the pier, the beach, the seafront, and then they went back up to London and did all the interiors, the houses, the bars, the cafes. They filmed around Notting Hill, which has got the coloured houses. So even some of the street scenes were filmed up in Notting Hill. But what really makes Grace unique in that sense is that they are 100% committed to Brighton and filming everything in Brighton. Even when we film Munich or Spain or France, it's really all Brighton.
How does the process work then? So you obviously are given a script first?
Yeah.
How soon do you get that before production starts?
The normal process is you have 5 weeks prep and there's a 5-week shoot.
Okay.
So that's kind of the rhythm we're in. And there's 4 episodes, so normally we kind of prep for 5 weeks, then it starts filming for 5 weeks. When they start filming, the second episode starts prepping for 5 weeks. It's very regimented, and it's like a freight train that leaves the station, and you just have to, you know,
keep up,
keep putting track in front of it to keep it going.
It's quite pressured.
It's quite pressured, yeah, it is, yeah.
So I've never done location work. Mm-hmm. I write. So I'd have no idea, how do you turn a script? Well, obviously the locations are written in the scenes.
Yes.
How do you block that out? Which locations would you source first?
Well, you obviously everyone reads the script.
Yeah.
And then in general it's quite obvious which are the most important ones, where you spend most time, or the most important parts of the story, the beginning, the opening sequence, the end sequence, where the major kind of plot points happen. And you start with them. Mm-hmm. And then, so you break the script down, put all the locations in a list, and then you talk to the producer, to the writer, to the director, to the designer, and you kind of pick a style or, ideas of what you want it to look like, and then you start kind of picking those major locations first, and then you kind of work your way down to the B locations, and then, then obviously by that time you start making a schedule of what you're going to film when.
Yep.
And some locations are just one scene, so you're just kind of waiting for the first assistant director to tell you where it will be filmed, and then you go in that area and look for those.
So is this all done in one office?
Yeah, we're all based at the offices here near the racecourse, or in the racecourse, that's where we work from.
Do you have to liaise closely with the director of photography? I'd imagine once you've chosen the locations, he's going to go.
Yes,
he's going to go. How do I light this now?
Yeah. So he gets brought on quite early on as well, not as early as the director. Yeah. And the designer is on it for the same period of time as I am, and then they come and have a look and see how to light it. Sometimes they go like, I can't really make this work because of they want to film it at night and I can't light it at night or day, but very rarely does that change the location. They normally find a way of making it work,
Okay. What am I going to ask about now? Tell me, let's go back to your background. Tell me a bit about how did you get involved in the film industry?
As we talked about before, we both got interested in photography in our early teens.
Happy snappers, yeah.
Yeah, that was me. So about 13, after school club photography, got involved, loved it, and didn't really think you could build a career out of it. You know, it's not something my parents did, or it was just a hobby. And then, you know, you kind of learn about film school, and, you know, so I went to film school, and then graduated, went to London. I started working as a runner, making teas and coffees, and, you know, I was a runner driver, so even driving the actors to work and to set and then back home, and, you know.
But it's a great way. It's a great way to get in.
It was a great way to get in.
Because runners see all.
Runners see all. So I was, you know, it was all over. And I think at that time as well, there were more runners than there are now. So you had time and space to kind of join the camera department and I gravitated towards locations, really. And then at one point I said, yeah, I want to join that department, and called up all the location managers I knew, and some of them gave me a job, and it kind of rolled on from there.
Fantastic. Favourite locations?
That's a tricky one.
How many have you done work abroad?
No. Locations very rarely travels abroad like other departments they do, like camera or design or sound. But with locations, they look for kind of local people who have got the local knowledge of the council, of what's available in the area.
Makes sense, yes.
Which means you don't travel as much as a location person, but, you know, when you've got a family and wife and children, it's quite nice to not having to go to Iceland for 6 months, and you get to have a bit of a family life. Sometimes you kind of get in with a group of people or producers or directors, and you kind of, you know, get into a rhythm with them, and then you do quite a lot of work for them. I think looking back, this time will be a grace period of my life where I did a lot of, you know, work with ITV
period,
and Grace, you know.
But it's true though, isn't it? Because you spend so long on sets. It's like a family.
Yes.
And it's trust as well, and you need to know you can work well together, and it's about developing that shorthand of filmmaking.
Yes.
So the whole process is efficient.
Definitely.
It sounds like on Grace especially, you've got a fantastic team.
We've got, you know, I think I've managed to keep most of my team together, but I think the producers, Kieran and Natalie, have managed to keep most of the Grace crew overall together. So there's definitely a shorthand.
Yes.
And a feeling of a family now making this series now, well, 4 seasons, and most of them come back, which is a testament to the show and the atmosphere on set, that everyone wants to come back and do the next season.
It's popular, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely doing well.
And what other productions have you worked on that you enjoyed?
I did The Detectorists, the first season, which I really enjoyed.
The metal detector one?
Yes, the metal detector.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you?
I did that one, yes. I did the first season of it, which was a lovely crew as well, and a lovely, it was like in the spring and summer in Suffolk, which was lovely.
Lovely.
And that's nice, and I think the same feeling with Grace. I don't know how many seasons they'll do, and I might not always be involved, but, you know, having done the first 4, you've really helped set the style and the tone of the show, which, you know, when you do the first season of The Detectorist, it was the same thing. You kind of helped set the style and the tone of the show, and, you know, and even if other people carry it on, you always, there's always a bit of you in it because you've done the first season.
Have writers come to you for help with their locations? They get stuck and go, well, I kind of have an idea, but you're the guy to come to, because
not necessarily writers. So they write the episode, and then of course we need to find it, and we might not always find exactly what they wrote. So then it's more the director and the producer who go like, well, what do we have? What can we do? And how can we, you know, keep the storyline the same, but set it in a different location? So that happens quite often, because in the end Brighton isn't, you know, and surrounding areas aren't that big. So yeah, quite regularly do we get a script, the original or the first draft in, and go like, well, that'll be quite difficult to make that happen. But, you know, what's the essence of the storyline, and where can we set it? You know, where in Brighton where it would still work.
How do you avoid repeating locations, especially if Grace is now series
4? Yeah,
and Brighton's not that big.
No, but we still keep finding new and the stuff of, you know, finding new places to film. I think for this episode 4, season 4, we're thinking of shooting on the beach where the houses are on the beach in Port Slade, next to the Shore and Port.
Ah, yes, I know. Yeah,
with the private beach. So we haven't been there, which is quite iconic Brighton. You know.
And you've got the new pool.
and you've got a new pool, you know. So there are always new ones that come along, and I mean, obviously, every episode needs to feel a bit like Brighton, so you always want a bit of maybe Regency houses in the background, and Hanover, and so a bit of repeat isn't bad, and see the pier in the distance, or so there's still plenty of places in Brighton, New Haven to Worthing that we haven't filmed in, and that we can set new things in.
Do you, when you're on holiday, for example, or going for a drive, do you tag
definitely
locations?
At the moment, yes.
Maybe.
Definitely around here I do.
You've got a black book of locations.
I obviously not always when I go on holiday to Spain, but definitely around Brighton I lock things in my head.
Because this show's about filming in Sussex, and obviously it's very popular destination now, the Seven Sisters.
Yes, I mean there's a lot more coming out of London just because of how prohibitive filming in London has become, and how expensive.
Yes.
So there's more and more being set, anywhere around London, in Birmingham, but as much Brighton as well. I mean there's a lot here you can do and can film, and I know there's definitely in Hove there are streets that look like Pinner in London, so you could almost film London in Brighton. So there's still a lot of options and possibilities to do around here.
Okay. Future. Yeah, TV. I was going to ask you the future of TV. Viewing figures have been dropping off somewhat on Netflix, but I think there's a turnaround back. Netflix viewers are now dropping off, and maybe TV's a solid bet. I don't know.
I think people. Yeah, I mean, numbers. I'm not always over it. No, not really. Sure. But I think people will always watch TV. People want entertainment, and TV and film and Netflix. It's one form of entertainment. In the evening when you want to relax. So I don't think it will ever go away, or but like everything, it will fluctuate. And of course, we came out of COVID a couple of years ago when people could do nothing else but watch. So and I personal experience, I watch more TV in the winter than I do in the summer.
Yeah.
And
do you binge watch?
I do a bit of binge watching, but it's hard to switch off when I watch TV. And definitely
because are you seeing behind the scenes?
I'm seeing behind the scenes, and how much would that have cost, and where would they have and achieve this, and how that permission works. So it's hard to switch off sometimes. So I take it in little doses.
A lot of crew and directors have to say the same thing. They're busy deconstructing it, or saying, "Oh, I could have done that better." And it's
I mean,
come on, just enjoy it and let
Not necessarily I could have done that better, because if they've got the location, they got the location. But I'm definitely deconstructing. Oh, that was at night. So how much time did they have there? Did they go to after midnight, or did they finish at 11? All these things, and rain machines, and where did I put the lights, and
There's so much to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to think about the angle of the sun? Of course.
That's more the gaffer's job. But you you find a location and you kind of think, well, if you find a location on the 10th floor with windows facing south and nowhere to put any light control outside, it's not really going to work.
Scuppered.
So you do try and not offer up those locations.
So you have to have a good understanding of the filmmaking process. Yeah,
that helps for everyone. You could offer it all up, but then it just makes everyone's life difficult. And then as well, you don't really get out of the location what you could have got. Sure. So if it's a location that works for all the different departments, you'll get a lot more out of it.
Toughest location you've worked on?
Toughest location, I think. I mean, it's a hard one, because what is tough and what is and as well, what was my favorite location? I don't think I really have one, and I don't think I've had the really tough locations, because some of them are tough, or in other ways, like winter at night, and you do everything well, and it starts raining for 2 weeks, and that becomes an absolute nightmare. You're in the trenches then, so that's a tough location. But
we're very, very weather dependent here.
Yeah,
a big problem.
But tough location could also be very hard to get the permissions in, and that might take a long time to work. But once you're there, it's quite straightforward, some kind of national trust places, or English heritage places take a lot of effort to get everyone in and sign everything off. But once you're in, you're kind of so restricted, and so everything is so regimented and already been decided that it's quite easy to film on the day. It just takes ages to kind of get it all planned.
What's the cheekiest location you've fixed?
The cheekiest location,
or the one that gave you most sort of rewarding. Like a manor house or a palace.
Yeah, cheekiest location are the ones the most rewarding. I think like there's one location we're filming now where on Grace, where a lady, it was the house of her mother who recently died, and she was a big fan of Grace, and her and her siblings need to sell the house now because it's too big for them and no one can take it over. So the house is still kind of furnished as their mother lived there, and we're going to film in there as a house of an old lady, and then afterwards they'll sell off the furniture, sell off the house, so the house will leave, which was her family home as a child, so it will leave the family, but there'll always be you can always watch Grace again and see the house.
That's lovely.
And that's a nice
there you go.
That's a lovely moment you can give people.
That's fantastic.
So that's probably recently one of my favorite locations, because you kind of give something back to people. Normally we always pay them for the location, but to give them something like that back is really enjoyable.
That's lovely. And finally, what advice would you offer for anyone aspiring to be a location? Well, what advice should I give? Well, locations is locations. It's bricks and mortars. Yeah. But it's really a people's job, because you have to kind of, you do a location agreement and you sign it, say we're coming to film on that day, but it's not really the agreement that gets you to film in the location. So it's a people's job. So that will be my advice, definitely, to be, to not look at locations as just parking trucks, bricks and mortar, entrance here, toilets there, lunch there. It is making sure, the people enjoy it. And then if the people enjoy having filming done in their homes or shops, you just get a lot more out of it, and everything becomes easier and more agreeable for everyone, including the crew. Yes.
Including, which means they can do a better job, which means they can, get more out of it, and the show gets more out of it.
It's about morale, isn't it? You need a good morale on set.
Yeah.
And any tension's not. No,
it's not good. And I think that as a location manager, to make sure there's no tension coming from the location owner to the set and to the crew is important.
Explain everything.
Explain everything, but you can't, because obviously sometimes the director doesn't quite know how he or she wants to film it. Sometimes they have a plan, and then the weather changes it. So you can't really. You have to be quite precise, but at the same time leave as much gaps so there is space to maneuver for the shooting crew, because there'll always be some maneuvering that will need to be done on the day to make it happen, for things they didn't think about, things they couldn't plan for.
Yeah.
So you can't be too precise, because then the kind of stress from the location owner comes back down to the crew.
And have you ever run over? What happens then? Do you have to just...
Well, that's not really my problem. That's the first assistant director problem. But yeah, that happens, and and it could be various reasons. It could be because something's gone wrong with the location, something has gone wrong with the actors, something's gone wrong with the amount they wanted to shoot, or the camera, or the too much. Like a street cleaner that comes by every 5 minutes that slows the crew down. So it could be anything. So yes, that does happen, but that's someone else's department. And the only thing that affects me is if they run over too much and they have to come back the next day, then of course I need to, and again, that's a point where as a location manager, it's a people's job, where you have to kind of make sure that the location owner is happy for you to come back the next day, even if you might not have planned it. That's what I mean, like you have to have enough space and to maneuver.
Diplomacy, as much as anything.
Enough space to maneuver even into the next day.
And so, good idea for an aspiring locations manager to start on shorts, just build up.
Yeah, or start on set. I think there's no real film school you can go to become a location manager.
No, it's not at all.
So I think it's definitely, I think working on set as a marshal, location marshal, and then a location assistant, and then there is a unit manager or coordinator, and then assistant location manager, and then a location manager. And I think to definitely do the whole route from bottom to top is important, and not to rush it. Spend enough time in each kind of level, so you get to know all the facets of and do all the good jobs and not so good jobs either. So you can when you get to run the department, you can tell a person to do this job, which isn't very nice, but you've done it, so you don't mind asking someone else to do it. And then to make the step, it's always kind of hard to make the step to the next level, because they want you to have the experience, but to have the experience you need to do the job. And then that's where short films come in hand, where you can learn the experience and then take it back onto the kind of mainstream filming.
Peter, thank you very much for coming in. I enjoyed our chat.
Welcome, I enjoyed it.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.